It's late, but we're back. Now I have a feeling there's some more people around here. Some kind of brown slop is congealing in these dishes. It smells burnt. Mademoiselle. Oh, Pino. Hey mate, sent you a Facebook message. Oh, Mum passed away. Hope it's not too late, but wanted to invite you to the funeral service tomorrow. Damn. We made plans for the holidays tomorrow, but let me see it. I don't really. I mean, I check my Facebook like once a week. Not the mama, Poyet. Sad times. Right, let's see. Okay. Is there information on where and when? Oh, here we go. If you would like to sit in St. Mark's Church in Pakuranga. Let's Google St. Mark's. $10:30 a.m. tomorrow, okay. Alright, I'll see what the schedule is for tomorrow. There's something in the city at I don't know when the city thing is, but it's some sort of trip in for some festival with Gran and that sort of stuff. So some family day. So I'll see what the deal is, and I will show up if I can work something out. Yes, St. Mark's. Across from Wood Elsmore. I know the one. 10:30. All right. All right. What's nighttime? All good, don't stress, just so you should know. Okay. Okay. Alright. Not the way you usually start a stream, I guess. My buddy just came in and his mum had passed away, and he had sent me a message on Facebook, but I never checked Facebook, so he caught me in here. So it's just sorting that out. Some details tomorrow. Okay, so this goes somewhere, but I want to go up to the other end of town. Starting a stream by you being AFK and on the phone, something different, or at least you aren't strapping sugar into your orifice. I mean, I wasn't on the phone. He dropped a message into chat, so... The Blackhound Inn's a fine place to sit and have a smoke. Oh. Practice your hunna hunna laugh. Hunna hunna. What kind of laugh is that? Oh, the mighty 5-month subscription from The Garbage Man! Let's reach out. You see a group of people standing around a wagon, transfixed on a sword as it swings in a large, graceful arc. This man holds the sword, passing it from hand to hand with a relaxed ease, making the blade dance in front of his audience. He tosses it into the air, spins, then puts his arm behind his back to catch it. The crowd claps excitedly, and a couple of them gasp, certain they were about to see a tragedy. Hugo. Other French laugh. Ha 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 ha! You see a room, bright, warm, and covered in greenery. There isn't a spot in the entire space that doesn't have some kind of plant growing in it. Small, germinating seeds in a corner here, large, sprawling vines climbing the walls here, there. Although most of the plants are actually in some kind of container, there are a few that have grown from the dirt floor itself. These are just as lovingly cared for as anything else in the room. This man wanders through the plants, smiling at each and every one, an old pipe clenched between his teeth. Stopping next to one, he touches a leaf, lifting it up to look at the underside, then gently rubs it between his fingers. He takes a small handful of soil it grows in and crushes it with his fingers. Satisfied, he drops the soil back into the pot and continues to the next plant. He hums a low cheery tune as he moves among the plants, occasionally stopping to sing a few words of something to one of them. Finally, he reaches the door. Having visited every plant in the room, he turns back to look at them, a look of serene pleasure on his face. Then he turns back and is gone. I mean, that's Pottery 101. Despite the rains, the stalks feel as dry and stiff as the locust husks. Patuan is one of the best smiths in the drywood, but his stock's been lousy lately. Yeah, I like this. See, there's slow mode for when you're, in combat or approaching combat, and then there's regular mode, and then there's fast mode. For running around. Been thinking about joining family over in Dryford. They have it far better than us. Nope. Did you hear the bells? Bad news, I think. Been thinking about joining family over in Dryford, just like that other bloke. Cows. Cows. house. Wait. Okay. What if I get a bucket or a bottle I can get milk? The crops are blighted. The legacy is upon us. This place is cursed. Ah, here we go. Because that's the tree down there. I saw this place when I came in. Ingrid's home. Are you sure you want to proceed? Garzeka 041. One of the many Garzeka clones. Some say she has multiple personalities. Nonton. Ingrid. This man and woman appear to have been deep in conversation, working at closing two bulging satchels. They move to embrace, until the woman notices your approach and pauses, her smile faltering a little.
Hello!
Can we help you? She looks to her companion, brows furrowing with confusion. Do you know this woman, Nonton? Nonton coughs. Yes, I think we met in the Valewood. I warned her about the bear. He inclined his head. Glad to see you've made it. Was there something else you wanted? Uh-oh. Ingrid, that's unkind of you to say. I'm grieving my husband, in my fashion. I'm only sorry I could not convince him to leave Gilded Vale before this happened. You two seem to be in a hurry. Yes, I imagine so. Ingrid laughs. We're packing for a trip, actually. I've been meaning to visit Defiance Bay, and... She looks at Nonton. Well, in truth, I think I've had my fill of this town. Is there anything you can tell me about Gilded Vale? Ingrid smiles wryly. Only that you'll want to be moving on as soon as you can. You'll have seen the tree, I imagine, but the rot goes deeper. If you were looking for work, I'd say you have a better chance of it elsewhere. We're headed for Defiance Bay ourselves, Nonton adds. Can loot your house. Steal your book. Look at your empty bottle. Half empty bottle. Right in front of them. I'm just gonna go through the drawers.
Hail and well met.
Okay. I like bulging satchels. This is a great discovery. The biggest satchels in town. Wonder if... Here he is. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. Yep, mine in. Springberry. That wasn't a villager, it was a ghost. A ghost of a villager. Right, let's look through this house first. Kyra Loth. As you near, one of these, you see a crowded marketplace, vendor stores lining the road, their proprietors' voices calling out to passers-by to come sample their wares. This woman wanders through the throngs, strolling hand in hand with another woman. They peruse the vendor's goods, tarrying at a book merchant with a number of old and beautiful tomes, chatting with one another about what they see. One will pick up a book and show it to the other, who will take it, comment on it, and place it back on its shelf. Then the first will snatch up the book again and quickly pay the merchant before the other can snatch it back. They walk away from the market weighed down by packs filled with books, still hand in hand, standing close, comfortable, and familiar with each other. As they pass down a somewhat deserted street, an object suddenly hits this woman in the chest and bounces off, rolling away toward one of the buildings. The women stop and look at the object, an apple, and then back up at the person who threw it. There is nothing special about him aside from the angry look on his face and the 2 other apples he holds. Before either woman can move, the man draws back and throws another one at them, this time hitting the second woman in the forehead. He yells at them something derisive and hateful. Oh, you fucking bullshit. Something about a legacy and about responsibilities. The woman raises her hand to her head and wipes the juice and bits of fruit from her face and stares the man down defiantly. The first woman squeezes her hand. I want to read this in a retarded voice. The first woman squeezes her hand and puts the other on her companion's shoulder, attempting to calm her down. The other woman pulls a book from her pack and holds it before her, muttering under her breath. She pulls her hand free and waves it above the book, an aura forming around her. The first woman is still trying to calm her down, but all she says goes unheard. The man, uncaring of the events happening in front of him, draws back and throws the last apple. As it arcs through the air toward them, the second woman brings up her hand and points at the apple. A glowing orb of energy flies from her hand and strikes the apple, causing it to explode, raining bits of apple down on the road and buildings around them. The man's face changes, anger joined by fear, looking like he's trying to decide if running or attacking is the better course of action. The second woman has started chanting again, her hand glowing, her eyes narrowing. This woman steps in front of her, placing herself between her love and their attacker. She touches her face, gently stroking it while whispering calming words. A kiss. The woman's countenance changes. She calms, her eyes softening, her lips regaining the lost smile. The first woman smiles again as well and kisses the other. "Wizard scum!" the man behind them says, and the 2 women turn to face him, staring him down defiantly. They join hands and begin walking again, moving past him without so much as a sideways glance. Oh my gosh, fucking hell, what the fuck? These poor victims, and they're overcoming adversity in the face of their diversity. Fucking what? This game's trash. That's it. It's over. The dream is done. We're finished playing this stupid fucking game. No, what? Why did he run back? Yeah, I was like, okay. Oh, look, it's a lesbian love story. And what did they do with it? Straight into the victim narrative. Straight there. I didn't give a shit. Fine, I don't know. This world can have crazy kooky, maybe everyone could be fine about it. Nope. And then, you know what the fucked up thing is? The last paragraph, even though they're clearly going for the obvious narrative there, the last paragraph, what does he say? He calls them stupid wizards or some shit. Like that was the issue. Like it was wizardry and not the fact that they were walking around hand in hand and kissing and fondling each other in the streets and jumping on the back of wagons and parading, naked and grinding on each other and shit like that. You see a pair of immaculately polished leather boots and an impeccably maintained goatee. Their owner, a slightly hook-nosed man with a wicked grin and narrow eyes. He bobs his feathered hat at a nearby merchant as he ambles by, a small piece of parchment held tight in his fist, ink staining his fair fingers. He seems to know most of the merchants in the market, stopping to engage some, nodding at others, and even bartering for minor goods with a select few. Always smiling, laughing, and exchanging jibes. He approaches a heavy-set Ormoa, smile plastered stiff across his face, and jokes about the weather. She jokes back, subtly palming his several gold coins. When he walks away, the paper in his hand is gone, and the smile on his face far more genuine. He tips his cap at her, winking, and trundles off with a new spring in his step. Nearby merchant, hook-nosed man. You see a large crowd gathered in the middle of a courtyard. This man stands in the midst of them, a cloak pulled over his head, holding it closed around his neck. The crowd has congregated around a platform, and they all watch, transfixed, as a man is led to the platform, flanked by 2 city guardsmen. The man is shackled hand and foot, but carries himself as a nobleman, not deigning to even glance at the crowd. The cloaked man pulls his cover closer around his face and turns to leave, hunching over to avoid being seen. A crier on the platform unrolls a parchment and begins to read, but the man pays no attention, intent on getting away from the courtyard. The crier's voice grows louder and more intense as he reads, and voice from the crowd start to punctuate his sentences. The jeers and shouts grow more frequent, and with each one, the cloaked man flinches and his shoulders droop. He breaks from the crowd, coming to the edge of the courtyard as the crier reaches the end of his proclamation. The crowd grows silent again, save for the occasional shout. The man turns back to look at the platform, seeing his father kneeling before the block, neck exposed. The executioner moves into position, lifting his axe to strike. The man turns suddenly, unable to watch. There is a wet thunk, and the crowd breaks into cheers and applause. He leans against the wall, reining his composure, then straightens up. With obvious resolve, he strides off, away from the crowd and his legacy. Feels like we've been seeing more bandits along the roads lately. See, there's something you didn't say, Buttonfly, about the lesbian wizards. They go to a store to buy things they can open and finger together. They buy plenty. They call that shit innuendo. Oh, well spotted, Mr. Curator. That's why you're the curator. You know, you notice the little details and then file them accordingly. Alright, it's Cowtown. There's just that one building that I just ran around. Let's go investigate that. Okay, I can't get to it. Gotta go up the stairs. Also, I personally enjoyed the whole love will overcome bigotry in the lesbian wizard story. Where are you going with this? We know there's more grain in there, Trumbull. We won't settle for scraps while you grow fat on our crops. A muffled shouting emerges from inside the mill.
The first of you drunkards comes through that door gets a shot between the eyes. Go on, hear me, swiner, I'll put you down like a dog.
Come away for now, lads, but we'll be back, Tumble, and we'll have fair prices, or by the flame we'll have a reckoning. A reckoning. We can answer. Nowhere. At the end, they make out, while the old man just yells at them, and making out is more fun than being angry and lashing out at him. They took the moral high ground, and the high ground was sexual intercourse of the promise, or the promise of it. Fair point. Yeah, what was interesting? Oh, what was stupid? He was a lone guy who armed himself with 3 apples and then started lobbing them at 2 other people. Like, I don't care if they are women. Who does that? Who by themselves? Like, if you're going to start throwing things, you're going to gather a mob so that you can't yourself get mobbed. It's just not smart mobbery. Totally unrealistic. An elven man stands before you, his relatively stocky build suggesting a life of labor. His face is pale and drawn, and his eyes wide. Behind him, a younger man and woman exchange worried glances. The miller raises a club as you enter. It shakes violently in the grip. Get back if you value your life. Hold on. I'm not here to hurt anyone. I don't have good resolve. I don't like being threatened. The miller hesitates, then lowers the club a fraction. Who are you? If Sawyer's roping foreigners into his little crusade now... What was that? What was all that ruckus outside? Trumbull shakes his head. Where to begin? Sawyer's whipped them up into a froth, going on about the grain stores. Claims I've hidden away most of it. Party gained 80 experience. Nice. All I do with the grain is sell it. I can't create it out of thin air, and I can't hand it out for free. I pay the farmers for the crops they bring in, and I sell what comes out of the mill. Most of it goes to the Black Hound on the west side of town for ale, and Sawyer and his lot sure don't mind that part. You take a look at the fields on the way into town. The crop's blighted, and most of what I'm getting from the farmers... Trumbull gestured to the sacks of containers. It's gone off, rotted through. I can't pay top prices for blighted wheat, and I barely got enough food, good grain to go around. Sawyer's howling after things he has no right to. Seems like a pretty clean story for a messy situation. Trumbull frowns. It's not, he pauses. Look, Sawyer's always been a rotten bastard. With stores so limited, maybe I save the good stuff for people who deserve it. Orphra, for instance. She's expecting a child. Should I let her starve instead? Those apples are very important apples. Important. Apples fell on Newton's head. Apples are a metaphor for knowledge. The lesbians have feelings. The apples were ineffective against their feels, which is why the apples rolled on the floor while they left the old man and went to scissor. I guess. Yep. Feelings above good sense. Gotcha. Do the villagers know about the grain supply? Let's do that one. Trumbull looks embarrassed. Some. The innkeeper, for instance. It's better not to worry anyone. I'll be trading for supplies soon enough. If we can just keep things calm until then, we'll be in the clear. The innkeeper? Trumbull winces. I wouldn't drink the ale is all I'm saying. Maybe I ought to go talk with Sawyer then. The miller all but sags with relief. I'd be grateful if you did. He won't listen to me anymore, but maybe you'll have better luck. Tell him we're all having a hard time of it, and we'll all have to make some sacrifices. We'll be in your debt for it, if you can convince him. A rancid stench rises from the screen. It's mushy and mottled with green. Ooh. My father's a good man. He's always done right by the town. I'm sure father can explain better just what happened here. This is like where they... Oh. Why did it have a mask on it? What does that mean?
My eyes are peeled.
I don't know. Let's leave it. It's just some bloody grain. It's not like I need it. At the cost of, like, looting the town's last grain and everybody knowing about it, because, you know, word gets around in this town. Classes like wizards and enchanters start with a bonus to lore. Yep, lore. Oh, good. Right, so I have to talk to a dude, Sawyer, but I don't know where he is. Oh, that's handy. Black Hammer Smithy. Ingrid's house. Oh, I haven't been up to Orphra's house. Roads. Temple. Let's go to the blacksmith. Here it is. Black Hammer Smithery. The town is full of arseholes. The town is Sodom. There are heretics and sinners everywhere. Take the grain from the unworthy. It is rotten grain. It's got mold in it. It's blighted. It's blighted. Oh, hello. I'm just browsing. Just browsing in a blacksmith. Lord Redrick himself looks to the smithy for supplies. Don't tell Tutwana, but I think Dunstan over in First Fires might have the edge on him. You see a man crouching, surreptitious and alone, a series of untamed shrubs, all that hides him from the vision ahead. His eyes are locked on a Dillimgan, beautiful and terrible, eyes half-liddled as she hums. A bird with fantastic blue and orange plumage sits on her shoulder, trilling gently, and the man is entranced. Trembling, tentative, he stands, and the tranquillity is broken by the bird's startled squawk. The Dillimgan half smiles, beckoning with twig-like fingers. She does not speak as he approaches. His mouth is dripping sounds of awe and admiration. She waits, coy and tempting, and with agonizing slowness he is before her. Then something changes. She sees something hanging limply from his side, and begins to hiss. Fingers suddenly claws, and eyes black with hate. He has no time to reach for his axe or grimoire as she strikes. And just as soon as she strikes, she is gone. The only evidence of her existence, the shuddering wreck on the ground. He grabs at his grimoire, nevertheless, and begins to chant. But the words of a magical language of his own imagining, scribbled in maniacal shorthand, ring hollow, and the silence continues unabated. He turns and shrugs at someone or something, but if there is something there, you do not see it. You see a group of adventurers surrounded by a crowd of attacking Quarups. Zarups? This man is with them, seemingly unconcerned by the battle, even detached from it as he stands in the middle of his comrades, chanting, his expression bordering on elation. His voice is powerful and deep, booming out across the combatants as a rich counterpoint to the chaos of their fighting. With every phrase the battlefield changes, his allies glow with a pulsing blue light, freezing with Zurups that surround them. A blazing pyre erupts from the ground, cutting and burning the creatures and sending them scattering. One of the falling Zurups suddenly explodes as 3 giant grubs crawl from its corpse and attack the remaining enemies. The man continues to chant, thoroughly enthralled in the joy of the moment. Finally, the creatures have been reduced to 1. His allies stand back as the man approaches it, still chanting. He removes his hammer and swings it at the Zurup. His phrase ends as the hammer connects with its head, punctuating the spell and bringing the song to an end. This Almoir man is of an impressive build, towering above the countertop. His skin is the dusky blue of the deeper oceans, and his thick arms boast corded muscle. Small ears frame a square-jawed face coated in smeared soot and arcing black tattoos alike. He offers you a broad smile as you approach.
Welcome! You're the first new face I've seen in quite some time. What can I do for you?
What do you have here?
You come to us at a strange time, I'm afraid. The stock's not what it used to be, but we've fine weapons and armor to offer, all forged right here at the Black Hammer.
Show me what you have for sale.
Of course, you won't find finer anywhere else.
An avatar. Oh! Gina's last 6,000 copper. Increased reach of Constitution +1. Reliable. Speed, reduced crit damage. Reduced crit damage? That's not good. Oh, unless it means that you get... I don't know what it means. Damage reduction... Oh, it must be something it gives you. Spell striking, jolting touch. Crossbows, great swords, wing swords, core staff. A blunting belt. Pierce DR bonus slash. Minor ring of deflection. Disengagement defense bonus. Bronze horn figurine. 1 per rest. It's expensive, it doesn't say what it does. Though tarnished and lustreless in its remarkable age, the intricate inscriptions and texturing still discernible on the horn's surface, along with the artifact's obvious longevity, suggest an object of expert workmanship. Range 7 meters, duration 26. Summons an animat. Alright. Rope and grappling hook. Oh, I got one of these. Oh, camping supplies. Alright, let's see what we got to trade. We'll take the torch. $5 CP torch. Small shield, torch. Oh, it's armor. Alright, I'll grab an extra camping supply. Can only carry 4, geez. Oh, all that pays for a camping supply. What else can you talk about?
Hello.
You mentioned something about your stock being low.
We just don't have the supplies. Been expecting the next delivery for near a week now, and haven't seen a sign of it. Have to expect they were hit by bandits. The road out east is crawling with them. All my workers ran off with the wagon themselves, maybe, to make some coin. As if that lot would dare.
He's right about the bandits. The dire situations in villages like this and the exodus to the cities has created far too many opportunities for unscrupulous sorts. Tutuana scratches his jaw thinking,
If you happen to be headed that way, maybe you could keep an eye out for a supply wagon, or my shipment at least. They'd be cutting through the Black Meadow, I expect. Only good road up for it. As it is, most of our weapons go to His Grace, Lord Redrick.
Tutuana glances at the nearby guard.
And that's as it should be, but it doesn't leave much for outsiders. We just don't have the iron.
Where was the wagon travelling from? I'll see them back safe and sound.
Tutuana nods. Then you have my thanks. You bring those supplies back and I'll have plenty more to offer you. A discount to start. Oh, and if you find my workers, tell them to hurry it up or they can take up farming instead.
Well met, friend.
Wonder what happens if I had said about the people as opposed to the weapons. Hail barrel hammer. So evidently I could steal this stuff. If I had a sneaky stealing person. Put on a hood. Sneaky, sneaky. Get out of there, close that. There we go. Okay, map. Weapons. More important than missing people. Yeah. Plenty of people around, but weapons. High demand. Alright, we come up that way. Orphra's house. A dry wooden woman is standing in front of the fireplace, humming a quiet tune to herself, or perhaps to her unborn child, for she is clearly quite pregnant. She turns her head slightly as you enter.
Hail and well met.
Well, finally, I was starting to think. The woman makes a startled noise once she turns around and sees you. Oh, I'm sorry. I was expecting someone else. She gives you a cautious smile. Can I help you? Nice cat. Who are you expecting? Oh. Were you with one of the caravans? She looks at you hopefully. Master Odima's, by chance? I was, yes. I'm afraid the rest of the caravan was killed. Orpha covers her mouth with a hand, eyes wide with horror. For a few moments she can manage nothing but a strangled, voiceless gasping, her eyes brimming with tears. I knew. I told her it was a dangerous path to take. Callista was always so certain she could take on any danger. Orpha sniffs. Oh, my poor sister. I'm sorry, stranger. I can't believe she's gone. If only I hadn't called her here. If I hadn't written to her, she might still be alive somewhere. Orpha's face crumples, and a solitary tear slides down her cheek. Quit your sniveling. How are you going to raise a child if you're weak? Or if you're this weak? Jeez. Kaliska mentioned that she thought you needed help. Perhaps I can provide some assistance. Orpha looks at you with some surprise before dabbing at her nose with a sleeve. It's kind of you to offer, but I don't know if I could impose this on you. It's not a small favor. Orpha wipes at her eyes. I'm worried about the baby, about the legacy. I told Kaliska as much as I could, but all I know is that for a long time now, every child born in Gilded Vale has been soulless, empty. There's so much room to be genuine in this game. You have to tell me what you mean by that. It's happened to so many mothers, and Lord Redrick, he's exiled all of them, calling it a sign of the gods' disfavour, she sniffs. With my Hawthorne gone, I don't know how I'd manage if I lost my home too. I hoped Kaliska could help me. They say Ranga, the old midwife, knows a way to prevent a child being hollowborn, but she moved south to Anslog's Compass 2 seasons ago. The journey's too far for me. I can't make it as I am, but I don't have anyone else. Now, with Kaliska gone, more tears run down her face. Please, can you help me? There's options to do what's natural, as if you wouldn't tell her to stop sniveling. That's true. Kind wayfarers, gold-packed knights. This must be, geez, this like those red ones that, you know, obviously different affiliations and different characters open up things. If I had done, I don't know, gone a different way and got involved in something before coming here. That's a long way to go. What's in it for me? I'll think about it if I ever head that way. I'm not one for charity. Handle this yourself. I'll find Ranga for you. Orpha blinks, eyes wide. You will? Oh, gods bless you. Here, I'll give you the coin to pay her with. You needn't trouble yourself with that. I think it's a drink she fashions out of. Well, I'm not sure, but it shouldn't be too much of a burden to carry back. Anslog's Compass is what we call the lagoon to the south. You'll have to cross the wilds to get there. That's what keeps me from trying it myself. She clasps her hands together. Thank you again, truly. You'll be saving us both. She sets her hand on her stomach, smiling through her tears. Oh, I'm going to have to review my quest log and oh, it's the cat. Okay, can't do anything with the cat. There's a book. I want to look at the book. Alright, let me look at the book. The book, guys. The book. The fuck. This worn dog-eared book is titled Travels Upon the Colder Sea. There is an etched illustration of a vast finned leviathan. What else you got? What else you got in this place? Sugar, milk, beer. grain. There's options to do what's natural, as if you wouldn't tell her to stop sniveling. Okay. I thought it had come up with new words. Ooh. Food items cannot be used in combat, but can provide bonuses over a long period of time. Interesting. All right. Quest log. Journal. The hollowing of the dyewood. The White March. You have no leads. The White March Part 2. No leads. Quests. The Old Watch is first going. Travel to Cade Noir. 23 hour 15. Cade Noir is south of Good of Vale. Past the Black Meadow. I will travel to travel here if I am to speak with Marwald. Visions and Whispers. I have word now for what I have become, a watcher. It seems that if I am to learn more about this affliction, I must seek out a man called Marwald in the old keep of Cade Noir. Wow, it's cool that these quests are kept as journal entries, written by, you know, from your first person perspective. I have narrowly escaped the strange and deadly wind through the Vale. I'm checking the ancient ruins. If I escape the ruins, hopefully I can find the road and the way to Gilded Vale somewhere around here. Okay, did that. And then it's got like when you completed those things in your journey. So for that I need to do that one. And then quests. Did that one. And also the way that the entry is filled in the journal is based on the options I picked, because it says in the last line, perhaps in time he can come to terms with what he has done and make amends, which is in line with what I told him to do, as opposed to, like, you know, I can't remember, some of the other options are a bit more, one of them was really grim. One of them was just to kill him. Ed has agreed to travel with me. He seems to have some questions he thought a watcher might be able to answer. Okay. Travel to the Black Meadow. And speak to Mother Rainer. Tasks against the grain. Ah, some of the farmers are good about. Okay, so I've got to go find Tumble. He's in town, so I'll do that now. Late for dinner. And I'll go investigate this, because I'm pretty sure I know where this is going to be. So where is this guy? Maybe he hangs out in the inn. That would be convenient if he does, because that's where I'm going to look for him. Oi, you! Leave the grainer alone. He hasn't done nothing wrong. Sawyer, here we go.
Good day, stranger.
Don't know who you are and don't much care. Been walking where we're not here to chat with foreigners. Aloth narrows his eyes. Careful. Looks like they're cut from the same cloth of those rowdies who attacked me. He wrinkles his nose. Smells like it too. Trumbull says you've been threatening his family. I saw you outside the mill. What was that about?
Well, someone fancies themselves a middle, What's that about? It's about Trumbull thinking he's king of our town on account he's got the mill to his name. And the voice keeps changing because I can't. The dwarf jowls quiver with rage. It's about him barely giving us anything for the wheat we bring him, and then cutting our purses when we need to buy grain. It's about farmers going hungry while some bastard gets rich off their crops. That's what it's fucking about. Now shove off. Maybe I could go talk to him for you. What are you doing in here then? What if I buy you all around? Will you talk to me then? Wow, what a communist. Oh, I can incite violence. What are you doing in here then? Alright, let's do this one. Sawyer considers it briefly. He looks to the others. Fair enough. You bring us something to wet our throats, and might be I'll feel up to trading words. What do I have to actually come
Good day
in?
to you.
I'd like to buy around for the fine fellows over there. Fine fellows? You're having me on. Any more frightening and I'll have to ban Sawyer from the inn entirely, the innkeeper frowns. Until then, it's 6 copper pieces for the lot. Resolve 12. Please, if I can just get them talking, I might be able to convince them to stop harassing the miller. The innkeeper studies you wearily a moment, then sighs. Well, that's all right then. Here, 3 drinks for the 3 fools. You get them off Trumbull's back, and maybe he'll be a little less stingy with his supplies.
Hail and well met.
You again. What do you want now? I brought drinks. Hey, so you have. By the flame, I never thought I'd be so happy for a mug of the Black Hound's shit beer. Gods, that's good. Alright then, you've got my attention. What is it? What is it you've got to say that's worth a round of drinks? Look, there's no sense in threatening the miller. You have him up against a wall. Maybe you could ask him some of the other villagers for help. Maybe you could tell me more about what's going on. Attack, you're a drunken menace, I'm putting you down. Resolve is like charisma. Kill him immediately. I don't want to just murder everyone that I come across. I mean, I've already murdered 3 people in this town. Alright. No, fine, screw that, we'll just do this one. Sir eyes you for a few moments, long few moments, drinking deep from his mug. Then he sighs. You're right. Things go on like this, they are. We're just going to end up hanging from the tree out there. He looks to his comrades. Tell Trumbull we'll leave him alone. We'll leave him be. Don't know what we'll do now with the crops failing. Haven't got another trade to speak of. Think Pasca needs a hand around the inn? Huh. You might have killed 3, but you haven't added them to the Christmas tree in the centre of town. Well, that's Radrack shtick, you know. Good thing them rich folks have you to keep them out, eh? Fucking magistrate. Half of us starving and he doesn't lift a finger. He does it, does ya? I should have left town years ago. Alright. Alright, so that's the one little thing. I think I'd go talk to this guy. NPCs with gold nameplates were designed by our backers. Interacting with them will allow you to experience each one's unique history. I wonder if the backers had something to do with the writing or stories or something. Or they're just the names.
That's a cool backer feature thingy. He's up here.
Hail and well met.
Trumbull nods a curt greeting.
You're back. Have you any luck with Sawyer?
I spoke to Sawyer. Trumbull takes a deep breath.
And? What did he say?
I've convinced them to leave your family in peace.
Why, that's... Really? That's great news. I wasn't sure you'd get through to him.
They're out of their minds with drink half the time. We just poured more drink in.
I owe you a great debt.
Here. He pulls a coin purse from his hip and pushes it toward you. Today's earnings, to show my appreciation, and you can be sure I'll let everyone know what you've done for me. That's really all you can afford after I saved your family? Keep it. You're having a hard enough time. You're a generous soul, friend, and we'll have to thank you for making it through the coming year. Safe travels, and may you find favor with the gods. Thank you again. I know that would have done... I don't know what we would have done without you. Now, there's one more mini quest. Ah, that's right, the cart. Go looking for the dog, the inn owner, the dog's owner, the supplies, something like that. No. Ah, okay, I see. It will take you 8 hours to complete your journey from Gilded Vale to Valwood. Fine. The first of cities. It's dark. The grass is still flattened. Behind the wagon's wheels, barrels of cabbages, potatoes and squash have been overturned and abandoned. Young wolf.
Lavaru, be on seat!
Don't blow all your spells, dude. Shattered pieces of a crate are strewn across the dirt, along with a few muddy vegetables. So I could have sworn it would have been this dude. Settler's arrow. So just scout the area. A cave. A little bit over there. Let's go scout that. see what we can see. Ah, wolves. Kill 'em.
Lavaru, be on seek!
These aged walls appear to have once encircled this entire glade. Only a small fragment remains, and the stairs leading to the top of the structure have crumbled away. Examine the wall more closely, or scale the wall. The heavy bricks are slick with moss, presenting a hindrance to climbing, but the stones themselves seem sturdy enough. Given the right tools, one might easily reach the top. Scale the wall. The crumbling wall is of a considerable height. Even now, and its uneven surface promises a difficult climb. Who will scale it? Well, Alf. Alf finds a handhold upon one of the large stones and starts to climb. Despite a few loose rocks and awkward angles, Alf makes a swift progress and quickly arrives at the top of the wall. Once there, Alf helps you up and over the side. That rope and hook at the blacksmith might have helped. Yeah, that's true. I was thinking, but I know Alf had high athletics, so. Nice. Oh. Dexterity +2. Scrawled letter. Let's see this letter. It's down here. Oops. I do not think you will ever see this, but you were right, Falvano. We should have journeyed south together and been safer for it. I would tolerate all the gloating in the world if I might live to hear it. I have put myself out of reach of the beasts circling below, but I am done for all the same. I do not think I will rise again. Whoever finds this, pray for me. Perhaps in the next life I shall be a trapper of wolves. Dexterity. Move to stash. What is this? Crumpled note. Oh, that's right. Blood moss. Well, I mean, it's a cool little skill check. You get a little something extra. From the edge of the wall you can see an old cobblestone road turning south and a patch of trees to the left. Soon yourself over the side and pick your way back down to the ground. Tinfrith, the young dwarf tending to the stew, looks up. Startled as he sees you approach, he drops his ladle, spattering stew across the ground. Bandit. What?
Bandit turns. Get her, you dogs, and make sure our new cooks don't run off. Tentrith. Help, please! Help me! One of the bandits gives Tentrith a kick and they pass him and he huddles. Kick as they pass him and he huddles again. Whoa, he just got wrecked. Just exploded. Dagger. Axe shield. Armor. Vegetables. Coin. There's a gold coin. Hunting bow. Leather armor. All of it. Give me all of it. Meat. Poultry. Fruit. The tent is empty but for a pair of stained coats and the stink of unwashed bodies. Alright.
Well met, friend.
By the flame, thank you. I thought I'd be stuck cooking for these ignorant weasels for the rest of my life, or until they were bored with me, I suppose. Did Pasca send you? She must be beside herself. I must get back at once. But listen, the next time you're in Gilded Vale, make sure to drop by the Black Hound. I'll let her know what you've done for me, and I'm sure she'll do right by you in turn. Oh, to be back at my own oven again. That's right, he was the cook. Alright, so they jacked the wagon. And then went over there. Funny that I dodged that stuff. I could have stumbled upon it on my way through, but... Fortunately I didn't, because I was solo and... I did not have a lot of life. Spells. Anything.
I have received confirmation that Lord Radric's heir was not born well. My lord has issued an injunction on all new homesteads until he can be assured that the village has been cleansed of all Eothasians and whatever other undesirables that have brought this curse upon his lands.
Uh-oh. Solo with a group? Yeah, you lucky. Could have been gone badly here.
It would be best if you left town as soon as possible. I would suggest returning to your old home. There will be no place for you here. You may stay at the inn until you can make the necessary arrangements, but I would not advise remaining long. I expect Lord Radric will be most thorough in his efforts to purify this place.
This is outrageous. I came a long way. Tell me about Lord Radric. He comes from a line of nobles who have defended these lands since Adire times. Radric II was an early supporter of Dire Woden independence during the Revolution, and the current Lord's father perished in the Saints' War.
Hollowborn began appearing in the Direwood shortly after the war's end. Purify this place. Redrick is such a lovely man. Lord Redrick has taken it upon himself to purge the curse from Gilded Vale. His measures have been severe but necessary. Unfortunately, it doesn't appear to have been enough to protect us here. The Saints' War? Our age's most egregious example of man's madness. 15 years ago, the people of Red Ceres decided that Waidwin, their living saint, was the literal incantation of the god Eothas. Urgent wrinkles his pinched nose. This supposed saint took it upon himself to liberate the Direwood, supposedly from allegiances to less worthy gods, but I've never known an army to conquer a land for its people's own good. The war lasted about a year, but you can guess what that did to the worship of Eothas in the Direwood. Lord Redrick's forebears had all been Eothasians, but after his father fell defending us from those fanatics, he personally saw that the temple of Eothas here in town was shut down. He points at a few ruined walls near the tree. If you have any other questions, don't hesitate to ask. It's important that everyone in Gilded Vale understands our rules. Then you should have no problem continuing on. Trust me when I say it would be best if you were not here when Lord Redrick's men are dispatched from his hold. They will be looking for anyone who might have brought legacy upon us, whose very presence might have polluted his wife's womb. They will extinguish all possibilities. I would like to know more about Gilded Vale. We're a frontier village, as are most settlements in the Direwood. Gilded Vale hasn't grown much since its establishment in the colonial days, and the last 15 years have seen our population shrink further. He takes in the ramshackle houses and half-fallen fences, hence our recruitment of fresh settlers. Aloth snorts. Indeed. Why has the population been shrinking? Waidwin's legacy, of course. Many women have had difficulty bearing healthy children of late. A few years ago, Lord Redrick decreed that no mothers of Hollowborn are to be allowed in Gilded Vale. His mouth tightens into a firm line. His lordship dealt swiftly with the objectors. It may be harsh, but if it purges us of this curse, it is not worth it. Is it not worth it? Tell me about the ruins. That's what's left of the temple of Eothas. His lips pucker. Lord Redrick forbade worship of the dead god after the Saints' War. It's been abandoned for almost 15 years, but there are plans to rededicate it to Berath, the god of life and death. Enough about Gilded Vale. Oh, I didn't read that last bit. You get to know the town well enough as you explore, I'm sure. Alright, let's hand in this quest.
Gods keep you.
Hello and welcome to the innkeeper looks up. Oh, it's you. Tentfrith told us what you did for him. It's such a relief to have him back. I can't thank you enough. Consider yourselves a favourite of the house. Discounts on drinks, rooms. Tentfrith said he wanted to whip up something nice for you. He's already back to work in the kitchen. She laughs. So what would you like? I'm sure you'll find something to your liking. We have the finest cook in the Direwood. Ooh. Big XP bump. Oh, whoops. Oh, wait, what's this worth? 405 CP. Maybe I should equip that. It's less damage, but it's got properties. Fast attack. Alright, we'll leave that there for now. Trade. Oops. Fine sword. Don't know what the fine
Greetings.
property does. Maybe better crit chance. Average attack, average attack speed. I've still got this guy's. Oh, that's right. Ah. 1 second. That's awesome. No.
Hail, traveler.
I'd like a room, please. Certainly, always welcome. Oh, discount on rooms. Alright. Yep, specials on rooms. That's why we did the quest. To gain more specials. Alright, I'm gonna call it here, and then tomorrow I'm gonna go do that. Find the witch for the medicine for the woman of the dead sister. So there you go, another jaunt in Pillars of Eternity. What's here? Curator, Garbage Man. What? Oh yeah, well if I stream tomorrow, you know. Alright, so yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Oh, someone joined. Just as I'm about to leave. Yeah, I'll pick this up again. Check out Curator _ Daddy and the Garbage Man Games, and follow them. Hit their notification so you know when they stream, so you can see what they're up to, and we can all have good times. We'll catch you guys later.